Hola, amigas y amigos de St. Lucis Public School System. My name is Carlos Zamora. I am the author and illustrator of the book Amigo that today this show is presenting to you all. This is a book that talks about multiculturalism and bilingual education. And it has been part of the scholastic um, family for a while now. It was published about 7 years ago. And it's a book that has made me very happy. I am a bilingual author, so I came to the United States when I was 29 years old, and I had to learn this language. So this was not my primary language. My first language was Spanish, as I was born and raised in Cuba. And when I raised my children, I realized that they were not books that addressed that particular characteristics of some children that have to navigate between two languages. Sometimes, families are formed from moms and dads, or moms and dads, or all sorts of combinations. And these individuals come from different countries, and they have to raise their children in two different sets of languages. My children were not an exception of this rule, and they became bilingual children at a very early age. At home, we spoke Spanish. At school, they spoke English. And sometimes I felt their friends thought that my children lived in a translated version of an English world, when actually we kind of lived in parallel lives. Of course, we lived in the same city and we go to the same places. But I realized that every time that my kids would bring someone home, they were surprised with our foods, the way we spoke to each other, the way we relate, and in a nutshell, our culture, our Latino culture. So I talked to my kids, and sometimes they felt diminished, and they felt different because they spoke Spanish. And I felt like they didn't have the tools to understand at their age, when they were little, how rich, how beautiful, and how amazing a life could be if you have more than one language. So I wrote this book, my first published book with Scholastics, to show children of multicultural families to celebrate and be happy and thrive in their multiculturalism. Specifically, trying to find the common ground, the thing that, those differences that bring us together. And in this book, for example, it's soccer. So it doesn't matter if you call it soccer or I call it football. The point is that we're having fun, and we are interacting and learning from each other together. So in this book, these two little roosters, they learn how to become friends, as challenging each other, sharing what they know about the world as they play soccer. So I encourage you all to get Amigo. Ask your teachers to get the book from the Scholastic Market. You cannot buy it in a different place. You have to go through your teacher, and have fun with this book that has brought me so much pleasure and so much joy, as my children that now are grown and they are gone in college, as I saw how they thrived and became bilingual kids that were proud of their heritage and more equipped to be in the world. So I wish you guys a beautiful day and enjoy the book. Sometimes children, and also adults too, ask, why the title Amigo? And what was interesting to me is that, I remember my daughter Aitana, she will come, we will pick her up from school on Fridays. And then she would say in English, hey, papi, it would be great to have an amigo over the weekend. And I realized, like, for some reason, she preferred the word amigo instead of the word friend. So the bilingual brain sometimes, kids don't, it's not a conscious decision, but you pick and choose words that are better. And I felt like the language in the Spanish language, amigo is such a beautiful word. The phonetic of the word is a marvelous sound. It starts with an A, the first letter of the alphabet, an open vowel, and it's such a full word. I felt that it was a word charged of meaning. So, what is interesting is that sometimes reflecting on why we choose the words we choose when we have the choice to pick from different, you know, languages. I realized by observing my children that some words were more efficient, and I don't know if I have a better word to describe that, but it seems like some words were more efficient than others. And I found that fascinating because I realized that my children, as bilingual kids, although they didn't know it at a conscious level, they had these two different set of toolkits. Because if you think about it, what is a language? A language is basically a belief system. It's a set of rules. It's the tip of the iceberg of a culture. And it says so much about you, although it's not the only thing that explains your culture, but it's the way it's the tool we have to explain ourselves. So having the choice of having more than one language provided to provides to children the capacity to go and select sometimes how they feel better. And I also realized that sometimes I would say my children, think in Cuban, piensa en cubano, because they had the choice to think as American kids, or to think as Cuban kids. And what I meant by that, and actually I don't think I even thought hard about this, but what I meant by that was each language, each culture is a very rich um, reservoir of strength. So we pull strength from the things we understand and the tools we have in life. So I thought like maybe languages are basically the tip of the iceberg of the culture that we represent. Sometimes we walked around and people don't know where we come from, nor that sometimes that matters, but it does definitely defines you. Your culture defines you in a way that it's stronger than you might think. And having the choice of more than one culture to draw strength, to draw knowledge. Sometimes there is ancestral knowledges in our originary cultures, and that's why it's so important for children not to lose that source of power. I think language is power, and the more languages a children can speak, the more equipped that child will be for life. Because sometimes in situations you can you know, channel your ancestors, channels the culture you come from to find tools to navigate life and situations. I'm really excited that the St. Lucis Public School um, office reached out, and big kudos to Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca, for inviting me. This has been such a great pleasure to collaborate with you guys and bring Amigo to your community. I do hope that my book touches you guys in a way that makes you reflect about the power of culture, the power of educating our children in the respect and tolerance to what's different, what sounds different. And sometimes, as I say to my children, you might encounter situations you don't understand, languages you don't comprehend, and instead of rejecting, just lean in with curiosity. And that is ultimately what the Amigo book is all about, to make you curious about the Latino culture, to make to create this bridge between the cultures, because at the end we live, there's only one world that we all share. And, every child should be an ambassador of the language and the culture they were born into. Have a great day.